Hi. Okay, my name is Denise. Thank you for watching. I'm a stylist for Color Street, and today is going to be part 2 of what I started yesterday, talking about how I met my boyfriend and how I got where I'm at now, which is in a long-distance relationship. Firstly, my dry eye is plaguing me today. Sometimes, you put the drops in, and as soon as the drop hits your eye goes, no, 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 we're fine, we're not dry, we're good, whoosh. And then it's like, oh, I keep having to dab over and over. So, my moisturizer is pretty much in everywhere. All right, here we go. So I left off where Dad moved into the guest room at their house. And this was a huge house, too, because, Mom is in finance. Dad is a software engineer. They had a really nice house. It was in down south of the Tampa area. And, it had like 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Each bedroom had an ensuite bathroom, and it had a fully landscaped with mature trees. They call it a covered lanai in Florida. I guess it would be a patio here, but the entire backyard and the pool area, all of it was totally covered. The entire whole shoot and match, because apparently in Florida they have bugs. I live in LA. We don't have that. Well, we have mosquitoes and stuff, but we don't get the infestations and all of that they get, apparently. Plus, snakes, alligators, all kinds of other creatures that can get into your pool. So they just covered the whole shoot and match. And, when they were building the house, it was a new build. And they, did upgrading on the, hang on, lighting. Oh yeah, that is a little bit better. They upgraded some of the kitchen finishes, and basically it was a really nice house. So for him to move down to the guest room was not the hardest thing in the world. It wasn't terrible. I did see it once. And the reason I saw it is because what I haven't told you is that between the two of them, when everything fell apart and they decided that they were gonna, however, stay in the house. Oh, what was that sound? I don't know. Anyway, between the two of them, and okay, I need to backtrack a little bit more. When he came to see me, before that, he told me that during a conversation one evening at their kitchen table after the kids went to bed, they were talking about the unhappy state of their marriage, in which he took off his ring and kind of like, slapped it on the table and said, I'm not wearing my ring anymore until I don't feel like I'm the only one in this marriage, because that's how I feel right now, he said to her. And, to this day, which this happened a long time ago, but he doesn't even know where the ring is. He hasn't worn it in a long time. And when he came to see me, his ring finger looked just like mine. No dent, no tan line, nothing. And the other reason why I had more confidence in everything he's telling me is because, I'm talking to him on the phone at 11, 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the East Coast time. And, I don't know about you, but if I'm happily married to my guy and I wake up at 1 a.m. and I'm like reaching over there and there's no one on the pillow next to me, I'm going to go find him. Did he fall down? Is he sick? Is he eating? Is he watching porn? What happened? Did he break his neck? Where is he? At 1 a.m. I'm not going to just like not get up and go find him. And so the guest room was on one side of the house, and the master was on the whole other side of the house. So he could talk in a full voice, not having to worry about whether he was going to wake anybody up. And never was he whispering, or like if he had to laugh, he would laugh out loud. And, there was never like, I gotta go, she's coming. That never happened, not ever once. So, I don't believe that I broke up a happy marriage for those reasons. And, so basically between the two of them, during that, time when they were trying to figure out the custody and all of that, they instituted a don't ask, don't tell policy. in case you meet someone that you want to hang out with or something. And, you know, it was like, tell me you're traveling for work. Tell me you're going to go visit your mom. Tell me you're going to hang out with your sister. Whatever. Just don't tell me that you have a date, because don't want to know, don't need to know. Which works for them, you know? And so he told me all these things, and I thought, okay, this sounds impossible, but it works for them. And, you know, their kids were none the wiser, and they were able to get along as humans in the house. They never like fought and got all nasty with each other and all of that other ankle biting crap. Nothing, none of that. They were able to coexist and, you know, keep things as they were. And I appreciate that. You know, not a lot of couples could do that. Excuse me. You know, not a lot of couples could pull it off. But, you know, my ex and I, David and I, were able to stay in this apartment and cohabitate and be decent to each other and not rip each other's faces off all the time. And, you know, we didn't have kids, but at the same time, though, we were still able to stay in a situation and make the best of it. And that's what they were doing. So, you know, I appreciate all of that. And unfortunately for us in our situation, we're going to stay in the house until they move out no matter what. The no matter what part happened to take a lot longer because his daughter was fine. She was able to lunch. You know, she moved out, got a job, moved away. She's living in another state now, working for the state. And unfortunately, with his son, he had trouble with math, wanted to be an engineer, couldn't grasp higher math. And I think after when he was a freshman, he was living in a house with 3 other guys. And, I'm going in with Milani Gilded Terra again, which looks like this, as we've seen before. I'm going to go in with the greens today, but I'm going to start with a little contrasting orange up here. So anyhow, when he was a freshman, he had a pretty good year, and then a couple of his roommates, one of them went to a different school, another one moved in to be with his girlfriend, and so there were just 2 guys left, and they couldn't find 2 more roommates, so he ended up moving back into the house, which was not ideal. And during that first year, when he was gone, they were unable to put their house on the market as planned or as wanted, because this was during the worst of the housing crunch in like the early 2010s. So yeah, we've been together that long. Well, I can't really say together. We've been involved for that long. And you know, trust me when I tell you it's not my first choice of how things should be. And you know, my ex and I had a similar thing where if we wanted to see anybody, just don't bring them home. I could not imagine bringing anybody home. There's no way that's happening. Nope. Not because he's a jealous guy, my ex. David was not the jealous type, but it would just have been weird. It would have just been awkward. So, nope, no bringing anybody home. And we made it work, just like him and my boyfriend and his wife make it work. But we still continue to talk on the phone every single night without fail. And we're talking a couple hours. Our longest conversation was like 3.5 hours. That happened to be on a Friday evening where he didn't have to get up early in the next day, so it didn't really matter. And, you know, we talked about pretty much everything. We know as much as we can know about each other without actually living in the same place. And it took over a year. We started talking on the phone in July of, I think it was July of '08, and then the fall of that year was when we had the "What are we gonna do? I like you" talk, and then it ended up that in January and February we hatched a couple of different plans for him to come see me that fell through. You know, money thing, work thing, car thing for me, because I've always been a driver, so my budget is not always where it should be. And yes, he makes 1,000,000% more than I do, but I, you know, didn't want to. I was too proud. If I was gonna fly there, which, to tell you the truth, I really didn't want to fly there. I wanted him to come see me because, you know, I don't want to be the girl that goes chasing after the dude, you know, that gets on a plane to go meet him. I wanted him to come meet me. And that actually is what happened. He came here in, January, February. We hatched a couple of plans for him to come here and me to go there. That never happened. And then April, May, same thing happened. June, it's like, okay, this is, and each time it was like we had a date in mind and we were going to make a concrete plan, and it just ended up not happening. And each time it was like this emotional roller coaster. We'd get excited and then we get bummed, and we get excited and we get bummed. And it was just like, oh, crap. I can't do this. I'm not doing this anymore, which is exactly what I said to him one night. I think it was like May or June. And I said, we've been doing this. We've been talking for almost a year now. And I'm not going to get any more emotionally attached to someone, no matter how good we get along on the phone. I don't know what you're like. You don't know what I'm like. No, I'm not going to do that. We have to either figure this out or like stop doing this. And so I hatched this plan. I came up with the idea of, I said, basically, I'm going to open my calendar to the weeks between Halloween and Thanksgiving. I mean, I'm going to put my finger down on a date. I don't care what day of the week it is. Someone is going somewhere to get on an airplane. I don't care who. Boom. And it was like the second week in November, right around Veterans Day. And he said, okay, I understand. And I said, don't say it. And he said, I'm not going to say it. The L word. We both agreed. No, you can't say I love you to someone you haven't even met yet. How do you do that? Especially when you're a mature adult in your early 50s. There's no way. Nope, I don't care. You can't. We're not saying it. Not saying it. Even though I kind of like had all of the other hallmarks of the L word in my brain and in my heart. I was really starting to like the guy and really, you know, thinking that maybe that's the direction it's going to go in. And I know this sounds really immature, but what can I tell you? Sometimes things just happen and you click with someone. And I know that it's an intense circumstance because of the distance, and that made the drama even, you know, more heightened, I guess. And, you know, online, everything is heightened. The highs are higher, the lows are lower. You get dramatic and you say things to people that you would never say in person. You know what I mean? So I was trying to keep things on an even keel and not get carried away. Besides which, I had David, I had my ex here too, to, you know, because he actually met someone. He had a girlfriend, which, oh my God, as soon as he mentioned that I was like, no, I'm supposed to meet someone first, not him. But, you know, same thing. They met online too, and they just clicked and all of that. That's another story for another day. Him and his girlfriend, whom I'm still in touch with. But anyway, with me and my boyfriend, I went off on a tangent and I can't remember where I was. It's not Australia. Oh yeah, the L word. I was the one that said we're not saying it, and he agreed. And then one night we're getting ready to sign off and it slipped out. He said it and I said, what? Wait a minute. What was that? He said, I know. We said we're not going to say it, and I agree. It's not a good idea, but I And he paused, and I said, I thank you. I know. I appreciate that. And I don't know what to say. And he said, well, all right, here. What I know of you as of so far, even though we haven't met, what I know of you, I love. And I thought, I could live with that. Okay. So I said, all right, cool. In that case, I love you too. Does that not sound juvenile? I know. And so, you know, before he came here, this was like in the summer of 2009. And my mother was ill at this time too. She was starting to decline. I had been laid off from my job. So I had a lot of time, even though I didn't have a car. This was like a really hard time. Those years were very hard. David and I were struggling financially. I got laid off. He got laid off. He found a job, and then we just kind of were just taking it a day at a time, basically. But I was able to go visit my mom every day in the hospital. And, you know, by the time November came around when he was going to come see me, God, I love this mascara. By the time he was getting ready to see me, I was going to the hospital every single day. And what happened was, since I was still in this apartment with David, my ex, what we decided was that we didn't want to stay in an actual hotel because you can't cook. And we're going to spend a fortune on restaurants and everything. So we found like a corporate housing type place where you could get a room for, you know, for 2 or 3 nights or whatever it was. And so we stayed in a place like that, not romantic at all. Excuse me, it was down in Torrance, which is a little bit of a drive from me. And got a rental car so that I could go pick him up at the airport. And at that time, he flew in, and the airline waiting area at LAX happened to be where there was an escalator. So if you're waiting for someone to come in on a plane, you see feet, body, head, feet, body, head coming down this escalator. And I'm like just watching. And I was a few feet away from where the bottom of the escalator was, because everybody's coming off with their rolly bags, and I'm not going to stand right there and block everybody. So I stood a few feet away. I was leaning against one of the big, ginormous, 5-foot round pillars that happened to be right there. And I saw him before he saw me. And I willed my feet to move, trying to push myself off of the pillar so I could walk to him. Couldn't do it. Not able. And he looked exactly like his photos and everything, which I was very appreciative of. And I looked exactly like mine too, so I knew he'd be able to spot me. And I will never forget the look on the second that he saw me. His face literally lit up like a kid on Christmas. He was just so happy. And he like the last 5 steps he ran. This is like a bad country song or like a trashy romance novel. He ran to me, and I was like crushed against this pillar. Big hug, big kiss. And, it was just like, all I could do was laugh. We both started laughing, just cracking up laughing. And we're just totally taking in each other, looking at our faces. And it's one of the best memories I have right now. I'm not going to cry. I might a little, but I have a Kleenex. So, I was talking about being able to build this mascara even after you let it dry for a minute and you don't get any flakes. So, this stuff is amazing, I'm telling you. Anyhow, so we're at the airport. We go get our bags. We get down to, I'm going to call it a hotel, even though it's not, for sake of saying extended rental, whatever. So we get to the hotel, dump our bags, and we already agreed that we were going to go lay in provisions, go shopping, so that we wouldn't have to, you know, go anywhere if we didn't want to, which we didn't want to. And we stayed in that room for like 3.5 days. And we left once so that I could go visit my mom. And my mom's partner was also here for her. And so I went upstairs to see my mom, and my mom's partner was downstairs with my boyfriend for about an hour. And this was like the first time that you know, he was going to meet anybody in my sphere. Well, actually, we did. We went to dinner that same day, too. But so, you know, he hung out with my mom's partner, Alan, for a good hour while I was up there with my mom. And, you know, I came downstairs and leaned in to hug Alan goodbye. And into my ear, Alan says, with his Bostonian accent, "That's a good man you got there, Denise." And I thought, okay, if I have the Alan seal of approval, that's a good thing. So, you know, that made me feel better about things. And I mean, neither of us misrepresented who we were at all. He is exactly who he said he was. And, oh, okay, I know what you're thinking. Trust me when I tell you, I have friends that were like, "Are you sure? What are you thinking? What if he's an axe murderer?" And I said, well, you know, I don't know that he's not, but I don't think he's going to kill me right now. And if there's anything weird, because I have a spidey sense, and so does David. He had this bullshit-o-meter that no matter who you were, after meeting somebody for like a minute and a half, my ex David could know like right away whether somebody was a good person or not, and he was never ever wrong. So David insisted on meeting my boyfriend, and I said, okay, well, I'll make up an excuse. So I did. I made an excuse to come to my apartment, and you know, walked in and, hey, how you doing? Handshake. And you know, we kind of hung out for a couple minutes, and then I went into my room or bedroom to get the thing. I don't even remember what I said I needed, but I went in there and left him alone for a couple minutes, and came out and, you know, leaned in to hug David goodbye. And he did the exact same thing Alan did. Leaned into my hair and right into this ear. He said, "You're good. He's clean." And I thought, okay, if I have the David seal of approval, then he's not a bad guy. And it was strange, I will admit. It was weird being in the apartment with the two of them, but, you know, I'm grateful that I have been loved by two incredible men, because David really did love me. And, you know, I'll tell you a little bit about David really quick. We met when we were both working for Super Shuttle, which was the airport shuttle company. I was driving, he was dispatching, and he gave me a really good ride that paid a lot. And I didn't know at the time that he saved it for me, but he did. And so and you know, he had the most ridiculously blue eyes. I fell in love with him. It was like, darn, you know, the the little tweeting birds and the little stars. And it was like, holy shit. Okay, it exists. Damn. Dry eye, go away. Bother me another day or never. So anyhow, I was really grateful for David. And, you know, days after we decided that we were going to break up, I needed emergency gallbladder surgery, which was like a nightmare. But here's what David did even after we broke up, and he got laid off from his job too. Here's what David did, my ex. I had complications. They left some grit or what do they call it? Gravel in one of my bile ducts. So that was misery. That was like being stabbed with an ice pick in your belly. Okay. So I needed to get another procedure where they did the thing and they went in and down the throat with the scope, which was like one of my biggest nightmares. And I was not able to eat for days. So I was weak. My hair was disgusting and I needed a shower. So I knew that I didn't think I could stand up long enough to actually get in the shower. So we're at my kitchen sink, and you know it's got the little faucet thing on the end of the faucet. I'm going to use that word again, but it's just a thing that you rotate around. It didn't have a hose, so I'm standing on my tiptoes trying to lean into my sink enough that I could get my hair wet, and I couldn't. I could only get half of it. On top of which, I kept like almost passing out. And David said, "Okay, follow me." And he sat me down on the couch. He went into the bathroom and brought one of those little cheap, not a footstool, but like a sitting down stool that you sit on, kind of like the one that like the eye doctors use with wheels. Only this didn't have wheels. It was just a little stool. We bought it at IKEA. It cost $10. And we got some contact paper to make it look marbled. I was so proud. But, you know, this was a cheap little stool, and we always had it around, and he grabbed the stool, went into the shower, put it in the shower, got me up, got me out of my clothes, sat me down in the shower, took off his clothes, got in the shower with me, and he washed my freaking hair, okay? That's who David was. And he contracted leukemia himself in 2015 and died. So, but I took care of him. I bathed him too. So we really took good care of each other, even though we weren't a couple anymore. Just because you're not a couple doesn't mean you hate each other, or that you don't, you know. Anyway, so, you know, this is the guy who leaned into my ear and told me that Rob is clean and that I'm good. So I thought, all right, well, I trust this man with everything. And he gave me the seal of approval. So I thought, okay, all right. And after that, I kind of felt much better about things. I mean, even if, you know, if either one of them had said that they felt something was off, I know that I would have felt something off too, because David and I were pretty kind of in tune, even though for me, I'm such a little Pollyanna that I always want to see the good in people. And so even when people are jerks to me, I still give them the benefit of the doubt over and over and over. It's really hard for me to let go of people. I admit it. And I know that I need to work on that too. But anyway, so, you know, that was that day of David meeting the people that matter. And then that night, I mean, not David meeting, Rob meeting the people, Alan and David, he met them. And then that same night we went and had dinner with my besties. Oh, also earring check. They're little trees and they're glass. I don't know if you can see any light through them, but they're made of glass, so they're really pretty. I like wearing these when my hair's back because then you can see them better. And I also still have my my little lights. So anyhow, what more can I tell you today? I'm actually almost done, but okay, I got my butter gloss in Sugar High. Yeah, again, I like having a more neutral, a less bold lip when I've got the color on my eyes. So anyway, so that's how I met Rob, him coming to meet me the first time. Little brow gel. Okay, I think I'm done. So as promised, this is part 2. If you want like part 3 or like more, I'm trying to think of what more I can tell you. I don't know. Let me know if you want to hear more. And all right, face is on. Hair is dry. I just got out of the shower. I, you know, got dressed and just combed my hair, and this is it. This is the hair. I know I'm extraordinarily grateful that I have like ultimate wash and wear hair. I really, truly, all I did was throw a little, I don't like using a lot of product on my hair, so I put lotion on my hands and then ran it through my hair. And I mean, the lotion was like, I rubbed it into my hands like it would, like I was putting it on. But when it wasn't quite all the way in absorbed is when I put it in my hair. It's not like I put a big glob and just went like that. And if you do that, it's gonna get greasy. But if you put the lotion and then like rub it into your hands like you're putting it on your hands, but then when it's about halfway like absorbed, that's when I rubbed it through my hair. And I do condition it and put, you know, all of the conditioning stuff on it, but yeah, this is it. All right, so that's my, there's a glare. Keeping my glasses off for a minute. So, what else can I tell you right now? I think that's everything for now, but have a happy day, and let's do this again. It'll be Sunday. I can't do it tomorrow because there will be shenanigans tomorrow with Cece and Inez, so maybe we'll get a quick clip with them in the morning. I don't know if it's cat claw day again or not, but yeah, Inez and Cecilia with cats is always fun. So I will see you in the morning, maybe, but definitely Sunday. Okay, bye.